A very good morning, dear children. Today we will continue with the remaining part of Chapter 3, Life Processes in Living Organisms, Part 2. The female reproductive system undergoes some changes at puberty, and those changes repeat at an interval of every 28 to 30 days. These repetitive changes are called as the menstrual cycle. Menstrual cycle is a very natural process which is controlled by four hormones that are follicle stimulating hormone, luteinizing hormone, estrogen and progesterone. So let us start by understanding what is the menstrual cycle and why does it happen. One of the several follicles that are present in the ovary that contains the oocyte starts developing because of the effect of follicle stimulating hormone. This developing follicle releases the hormone called as estrogen. The endometrium, which is a part in the inner tissue of the uterus, starts developing because of the estrogen. So what is happening is that the follicle as well as the endometrium, both of them are developing simultaneously. The follicle starts developing, and as it completes its development and as it is time to burst, there is a hormone called luteinizing hormone which is being released. This follicle, which has now completed its development, will burst as I already told you, and the oocyte that is present in it will be released outside, and this is because of the luteinizing hormone. This process where the egg has been released out into the oviduct is called as ovulation. The remaining part of the burst follicle is going to get converted into corpus luteum. Corpus luteum is going to secrete a hormone that is called as the progesterone. This progesterone is going to help the endometrial glands secrete various secretions, because of which the endometrium will remain ready for the fertilization. This endometrium is now ready for implantation. That means fertilization of the egg will take place. It is going to undergo certain changes where it will get converted into a blastocyst. From the blastocyst, it will get converted into the embryo. That embryo will get implanted in the inner surface of the uterus, and it will remain there for the remaining 9 months and develop into a human child. This is the case when the oocyte is fertilized or the egg has got fertilized. However, if the egg is not fertilized, then what would happen? That is, if the egg is not coming in contact with the sperm, at that time this corpus luteum, it will become inactive and it gets converted into corpus albicans. This corpus albicans stops the production of estrogen and progesterone. So now there is no estrogen and progesterone. The endometrium stops to develop. That is, it will start degenerating. This degeneration happens because there is no estrogen and there is no progesterone. This degenerating endometrium starts moving out from the reproductive system along with the egg which was not being used or which was not fertilized. And as it's moving out, it moves with a lot of blood. That is, there is continuous bleeding. Bleeding continues for 5 days, and this is called as menstruation. This is a period when the woman undergoes severe pain, and this is also a period where there are very high possibilities of getting infection. As you can see on the screen, this is a picture of the yeast infection which is caused by Candida albicans on the vaginal walls. So, Nowadays, we know that women are working at par with men. They have to be outdoors for long period of time, and during the menstrual cycle there is continuous bleeding. To avoid infection of the reproductive system, it is very important that women maintain personal hygiene by bathing regularly, by using clean clothes, by having balanced diet, and by also staying active all the time. Gonorrhea and syphilis are the two sexually transmitted diseases that are caused by bacteria. Patches on the various parts of the body, rash, inflammation, these are all symptoms of syphilis, whereas painful and burning sensation during urination, oozing of the pus from the vagina, inflammation of the urinary tract are the symptoms of gonorrhea. To make sure that you stay safe from these two infections, it is important that you avoid physical contact with the person who has these infections and also to get tested regularly. Many couples cannot have children due to various reasons. Like in females, the reasons can be irregular periods or irregular menstrual cycle. There may be difficulty in the production of the egg. There may be a problem in the oviduct where it is blocked. There may be a problem in implantation where the zygote or the embryo is not getting attached properly in the uterus. In male, there may be problems that there may be no sperm in the semen. The motility or the motion of the sperm is very, very slow, or there may be other problems in the sperm. In such cases, these male or female may have problems in having children. However, because of advanced medical techniques, one can have children by taking up certain processes or procedures like the IVF, surrogacy, and sperm bank. IVF is a technique which is normally taken during the cases in which the female has a blockage in the oviduct or blockage in the tube. Because of the blockage, the sperm is not coming in contact with the egg. And in the male, they may have whenever the male has low sperm count, in that cases, in these two conditions, the couple can take IVF. IVF is a technique where the egg is removed from the woman. The sperm is also removed from the male, and the egg and the sperm, they are fertilized in the test tube. The egg undergoes fertilization in the test tube because of the interaction between the egg and the sperm. So in the test tube itself, an embryo is formed. This embryo is then transferred into the reproductive system or into the uterus of the female. Surrogacy. We learned during understanding reproduction that the egg that is being released from the oviduct after fertilization undergoes various differentiations and has to get implanted in the uterus. In such a case, the egg is taken from the woman. It is fertilized in a test tube along with the sperm of her husband. After fertilization, the embryo that is formed is transferred into the uterus of a normal woman or into the woman who has a normal uterus. Such a woman in whose uterus the embryo is implanted is called as a surrogate mother. Sperm bank. Sperm bank is very similar to blood bank. This normally is taken into account when the male has certain problems like low sperm count, abnormal sperm, or abnormal motility of the sperm. In this, the semen is ejaculated by the desired man. after they have gone through the medical checkup, and then it is stored in the sperm bank. There are two ways of doing this. The sperm that is taken from the sperm bank can directly be injected into the uterus of the woman. From there, the sperms will move towards the egg and fertilize the egg, thereby giving rise to the embryo, and then the embryo will develop into a child. The second way of doing it is that the egg is taken from the female, the sperm is taken from the sperm bank, it is fertilized in the test tube, the embryo is formed in the test tube, and the embryo is then implanted into the uterus of the woman. So these are the two ways of using the sperm from the sperm bank and having children. Twins. When two embryos develop simultaneously in the uterus and two offsprings are delivered simultaneously, such offsprings are called as twins. There are two types of twins, monozygotic and dizygotic. Monozygotic twins are formed from single embryo. During the early period of embryonic development, that is within the 8 days of zygote formation, the cells of that embryo divide into two groups. Those two groups develop as two separate embryos, and thus monozygotic twins are formed. These twins are genetically similar to each other. Their physical appearances are also the same, and their gender is also the same, that is, both will be either boys or girls. In case of monozygotic twins, if the embryonic cells get divided into two groups 8 days after the zygote formation, then there is high possibility of formation of the conjoined twins or Siamese twins. Such twins are born with some parts of body joined to each other. Some organs are common in such twins. Dizygotic twins. Occasionally, two oocytes are released from the ovary of a woman, and both oocytes are fertilized by two separate sperms, and thus two zygotes are formed. Two embryos are formed from those two zygotes, and both of those zygotes and embryos are separately implanted in the uterus, and thus dizygotic twins are delivered after complete development. Such twins, they are genetically different from each other, and the gender may or may not be the same. I hope what was done today was clear. Thank you.